He is currently the only Democrat who wants to challenge current United States Congressman Mark Sanford next year. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Joe Cunningham. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Well, Joe, it is so good to see you.
Good to see you.
I appreciate this.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome to our house.
Yeah, and the kitchen table.
The kitchen table right here.
And you talk about the kitchen table because, when I went back and looked at your YouTube video, you basically said, hey, every month you and your wife sit down, look at the bills and whatnot. And you also say the kitchen table that is where a lot of issues take place among many households.
It is.
Talk to me about our country problems right now and what are we facing in your mind?
Right now what we're seeing is essentially a war on the middle class and the working class and those people just trying to survive. It's becoming more and more difficult, just like our family here. Every month I said that we sit down, we go over our bills, try to figure out a way to make it work and to cover the rising cost of healthcare expenses. And it's just becoming more and more difficult for middle class, the working class to get through that. And those are some of the biggest issues we're facing now as a country with healthcare and with education. And now we're looking at this disastrous tax reform plan too.
When you talk about that tax reform, that is, what sticks out to you?
I think about what hurts our families selfishly, but it also hurts millions of other families as well. For example, I'll give you a few things.
Okay.
My wife and I have a lot of student loan debt. We probably pay the equivalent of a mortgage in student loan payments each and every month. And the tax reform plan now would take that interest, which we can write off right now, and it would eliminate that deduction for us. So we won't have that available. And I know there are many, many people paying student loans off and paying the interest. Secondly, healthcare bills. It's huge. And right now you can write off certain healthcare expenses, but they want to eliminate that. As you know, Quintin, we're having a child in March, and it can be expensive.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea, I actually have a bill to talk about some of those expenses we're incurring. And this is just from 3 separate doctor's visits. I want you to read that amount right there.
Oh, $2,597.68.
That's from 3 separate visits. Now, that amount, it's it's hard to stomach initially, but taking away the ability to write healthcare expenses off is a disaster for the middle class. It's a disaster for the working class. And while doing that and giving tax breaks to the ultra rich is just a nail in the coffin for the middle class in my mind.
Let me stay in Washington. There's so many issues going on right now, from alleged sexual harassment allegations to ethics. Where are we with Washington in your mind?
Washington's broken, Quintin. And we're running to replace the broken parts in Washington. Right now you have a career politician up there representing the 1st District, Mark Sanford. He ran in 1994, and he ran on 2 elements, to not serve more than 3 terms and to refuse PAC money. Now he's running for his 7th term, and nearly half of his money that he takes in is from PACs. So we came out with a bold ethics reform package that we put out on our website where we address things like ending gerrymandering, not accepting PAC money, being more transparent in our government. And I think that's what this country deserves, and it's what it needs right now at this point.
You say 7 terms. How did we get here? How did he get there?
Well, you're talking about a person who has essentially been living off the government for several decades, either as a congressman or as the governor.
Right.
Since 1994, I guess he hasn't held a job in the private sector. He went from Congress to the governor's mansion and then back to Congress. So the several terms he served before, the 3 terms he served before, and now the 7th term that he's running for now it's against what he said in 1994. It's another broken promise. It's another broken piece of the system in D.C.
What promises do you have for the people of 1st Congressional District?
We came out with several, bold promises: not to serve more than 3 terms, not to accept PAC money. We wanted to go to D.C. to represent the people, be a citizen legislator, and actually represent the interest of the people, the working class, because that's at our heart what Amanda and I are. I mean, we were small business owners. practice law downtown.
Right.
It's Saturday. Both you and I have been working today, Quintin,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of Americans work on Saturdays.
Right.
And a lot of Americans work on Sundays too. And they work on Saturdays and Sundays just to get by. And that's wrong. It's not just to get ahead, it's just to get by. And so when we go to D.C., we're fighting for all those people.
Let me turn to President Donald Trump. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy going on between his administration and in the White House per se. When you think of him, what sticks out to you?
There's a lot of things that come to mind whenever Trump's name is brought up. But what we're seeing unfolding is what a lot of us suspected.
Okay.
With the collusion with Russia. The idea of a billionaire like Trump coming in and actually being a representative of the working class is a lie, and it's a joke. And it's all unfolding now in front of our eyes, and we deserve better. You know, our country deserves so much better than what we have right now. Everything from the White House to the Senate, the Congress, even locally too. We just deserve better.
And you talk about locally. I know one of your campaign promises is to really focus on, fixing the traffic situation here in this town as well.
It's disastrous, Quintin. I mean, right now we have a 2017 Charleston that is operating on an infrastructure from the 1990s or maybe even the 80s. When I go to Columbia to work or to Greenville and I drive out of Charleston in the mornings, I'm constantly reminded of the backlog of traffic of people coming in on I-26. It's important to remember that the Low Country needs its resources too. We pay a lot in taxes. We pay a lot of money. And we need to get a little bit of that back. We need to expand the infrastructure. We need to fix the issues with drainage. We need to fix the issues with the traffic. And we need to bring this Low Country up to speed with its infrastructure. And that hasn't been done with Sanford. You've got a person who went to Congress and he voted against the funding of the Ravenel Bridge. He voted against the funding of dredging the port. He has not been a representative of this district, and I'm looking to change that.
Here's another issue that's going on in Columbia right now, and it obviously surrounds the future of Santee Cooper in Scanner, that is. And I'm wondering this, if you were to sit down with a lot of lawmakers in Columbia, what would you say to them one-on-one?
I think there needs to be a lot more transparency. I think that the system in Columbia is obviously broken as well. That what's happened with Santee Cooper is a disaster, and the taxpayers are left footing the bill for it. And it's a good old boy politics that needs to be changed. And we're also focusing on that in D.C.
Okay.
And that's where our concern is right now. What can be done from the federal level to help the Low Country? Because Sanford hasn't been doing anything to help the Low Country, and we're looking to change that.
Let me be fair. In your mind, what has he done for the 1st Congressional District in your mind?
Not much. He's gone to D.C. and he's voted no on a whole host of bills. And he does it for the purpose of, being fiscally conservative.
Right.
That's what he says. However, we saw that he just voted for a bill that would increase the deficit by $1.4 trillion. That's trillion with a T. That's not being fiscally conservative. He's also voted for a health care bill that would kick 23 million people off their health insurance and institute a seniors tax on people. That's not fiscally conservative. He's hurt the Low Country in a whole host of ways and has done nothing to bring any of the resources back here to this Low Country, the resources that we need to move forward.
You talk about forward. Let's fast forward to the general election next year. When you go up against Sanford, say in a debate, what will be your first question to him?
I want to know why he hasn't upheld any of the promises that he's made. It's been promise after promise that he's broken, starting with when he started running in 1994. He hasn't done anything to bring the Low Country forward. I mean, there are lots of citizens down here that are hurting, that are stuck in traffic, that are dealing with infrastructure issues, that are dealing with the rising costs in healthcare, and he has done nothing to alleviate that burden for people. And that's what we want to know. And we want to bring this career politician back home and put in a citizen legislator.
Let me return here to home. We're sitting here at your kitchen table at your house here.
Thank you for making it work here.
Oh yeah, anytime, anytime. And there's
My security system. Teddy there.
There's Ted, yeah, my favorite dog there. But you're gonna add a baby to your family coming in March. Let me ask you this: who is Joe Cunningham when you take off the political hat, when you take off the attorney hat?
Well, I mean, I try not to. I don't really wear a political hat per se. We've unrolled this thing as telling people who I am as a husband, as a person, and just putting it out there for people, because I think people are tired of politicians. They're tired of political rhetoric. They just want someone who will be authentic and real, and who's cut from the same fabric that most people are. And that's the way I am. That's the way that my wife Amanda is. And we launched this campaign, I think June 21st, maybe 22nd. The next day after that, my wife comes in here and tells me she's pregnant.
Wow.
So that adds obviously a different element, and we're thrilled.
Yes.
You know, the first feeling is joy and happiness. The second feeling is, how are we going to pay for it? Mm-hmm. And so these things that have been added on just provide me some more fire in the belly to know that what I'm doing is the right thing for the Low Country, and now I'm actually representing other families that sit down at their kitchen tables and discuss the same problems that our family discusses.
You talk about June 22nd. What is the biggest difference between then and right now in your mind as far as this campaign?
About what?
What is the biggest difference between June 22nd and right now in your mind as far as the campaign?
The support. I mean, when we first came out, obviously it's a new face. I'm not a career politician. I haven't been in politics. I've worked as an ocean engineer,
right,
and I've worked as an attorney. I'm currently practicing. My wife and I are small business owners.
Okay.
So in the last several months, it's been introducing ourselves to the Low Country as a candidate for Congress. And we've received a lot of support from all the way down Hilton Head through Mount Pleasant.
Right.
And it's just been humbling to see the people out at the numerous events we go to and host. People come up to us and say, it's time for a change. Sanford's been up there too long. He hasn't done anything for the people. And it's just humbling to know that we've garnered so much support throughout the district in these last short several months.
Let me go back to Washington. Let me actually describe to me the following one word. John Conyers.
Gone.
Nancy Pelosi.
Well, we came out our first day when we did our announcement.
Right.
I put out a tweet
Right.
stating that if elected, I would not support her for Speaker of the House, and did that because we feel that we're going to Congress as a new wave of leadership, bringing in new blood, and all across this district, that's what people are saying they want.
Okay.
We want new people in office, because we cannot rely on the same people who created these problems to actually fix them. And I always felt it'd be disingenuous to go up to Congress and then say, let's bring in the old leader, let's bring in older people. I think there's a significant, on both parties, significant age gap between the current leaders and the people coming in behind them. And we need more leaders in office, younger leaders, stepping in to assume the role. And that's what we're aiming to do.
Jim Clyburn in one word.
Jim Clyburn in one word? I have a hard time condensing people to one word. I mean, Jim's served his district for a number of years now, and I heard him speak over at A&E Church,
Right.
over on Calhoun. He did a fantastic job, but I don't really have one single word to kind of condense Jim Clyburn into, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Flynn.
Guilty. Pled guilty. So.
Paul Ryan.
Disappointing.
Okay.
I mean, I just think that this charge on this tax reform is not going to have if they intend it to benefit the middle class, it's not going to have that result. And it's a disaster for the working class. It's a disaster for the middle class. And it's unfortunate that we've taken these things like tax reform and health care, which were not partisan. It should not be partisan, but we've made them into partisan issues. It should go back to helping the people and helping the people of this district instead of playing political games, instead of taking those issues and looking for political wins. People are looking for leaders who want to put, you know, the country above the party and the people above the politics, and that's what we're looking to do here.
Joe Cunningham, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Anytime. Thank you.